Hello and welcome to another episode of Murders, Monsters, Mysteries, and More. We definitely didn't just record this, that it is literally one video file. It is now June 19th. We talked about last week Martin Luther King conspiracy theories and how the government could have a cabal that tried to kill him. And this is a great thing. You already know these people, aka Pretty Ricky has to go record his Blackballed podcast. Links are in the bio. Go watch his death match. This is a benefit. We record these at a time, so if you watch the first one, the next 3 episodes normally. Gabriel Fuerza had some car issues today. He's having a hot car summer, but yeah, so we can kind of skip all of the we can skip all the pleasantries. But Jimmi V's still here, Alexia Nicole's here, and here's Pretty Ricky with his segment. What are you talking about, Pretty?
I'm still gonna go.
I like that I referred to you where Pretty's your first name, not the Ricky part. I'm mad at myself.
It happens. I'm going to go long. I'm going to be late for my next thing. This is just life as it is. I'm very upset that Fuerza is not here. He's definitely in for Hot Boy Summer. Like, come on, take a look at him. I've been seeing his abs. He's killing it. All right. So eventually we're all going to get lined up. I don't know, maybe gray sweatpants, maybe just some short shorts. We're trying out patterns. It's Hot Boy Summer. Grow a beard, get a headband. Like, come on, let's hang out. All right, I'm dealing with MK Ultra and the real Manchurian candidates. I've never seen the movie Manchurian Candidate, but I'm very upset about MK Ultra. So, was a thriller released in 1962 featuring a brainwashed assassin really fiction, or were the CIA and Army attempting mind control? The answer is obviously duh. These are terribly corrupt people, and terribly corrupt things happen around it. The 1960s thriller The Manchurian Candidate, a film remade in 2004 for all of that, features the story of a brainwashed assassin. There is disturbing evidence that the CIA was indeed involved in an attempt at mass mind control. Congressional and Army investigations during the 1970s revealed that in 1953, the CIA instigated a secret project called MK Ultra. Frightened by reports that during the Korean War, communists had used brainwashing techniques to convert captured U.S. soldiers, the CIA decided to develop its own mind control methods. Under MK Ultra, drugs, radiation, and other techniques were tested on subjects, mostly without their knowledge.
And also Alexia Nicole last week.
Probably.
The project included many shocking abuses. Mental patients were given LSD on a daily basis and subjugated to psychological torture, fed intravenous cocktails of barbiturates and amphetamines, or put into comas for months and then played looped voice recordings. Many were irreparably damaged, and at least 2 were killed. A CIA officer called Frank Olson, for example, was given LSD and fell to his death, supposedly during a psychotic episode. 20 years of research eventually convinced the authorities that such techniques were not reliable or effective. From 1976, a series of presidential decrees made it illegal to carry out research without informed consent. What the theorists say, contrary to the official line, MK Ultra research was successful, a fact hard to prove given that then director Richard Helms illegally ordered most of the files to be destroyed in 1972. Olson's death was not drug-induced suicide, but murder. He had been part of a team sent to Europe to interrogate Cold War prisoners and was going to speak out. When his body was exhumed, it was shown that he had been knocked unconscious before falling to his death. The methods developed by the program, active to this day, include ELF radio wave technology, see the Aurora Research Project, pages 133 to 134, drug control, hypnosis, and subliminal messaging. They were used during the siege of the Branch Davidian compound at Waco, on the illegal detainees at Guantanamo Bay, on prisoner at Abu Ghraib prison, and in the War on Terror. Sections of the population are routinely controlled in this way. Many schizophrenics are misdiagnosed victims of mind control techniques gone wrong. The official line: the program was an outrageous abuse of power, but it showed that such techniques do not work. Modern conspiracy claims are contradicted by how little we know about brain processes. How does the brain create thoughts, emotion, or consciousness? Scare stories about communist hypnotic brainwashing prove to be false. Presidential decrees mean that this sort of thing no longer goes on, and there's no evidence to suggest that anything other than stressing techniques were employed in the War on Terror. How paranoid should you be? We taking guesses on this one?
Like 90?
Yeah, I want to go 90.
I'm gonna go high.
Well, I mean, they did do it, but it didn't work. So, I mean, I'll say in the 70s.
It's 66%, which I think is more telling of the sign of the beast rather than an actual prediction of how concerned you should be. The mind control hypothesized by paranoiacs.
I'm sorry, but the hypnotize works. It's MK Ultra.
It all smashed together there. The mind control hypothesized by paranoiacs is pure science fiction, but the shocking abuses of MK Ultra may well be real. The U.S. ignored international conventions on torture and used similar techniques at Guantanamo and Abu Ghraib, and its intelligence services are operating a private airline to ferry prisoners to despotic regimes in order to circumvent U.S. rules and oversight. Given the track record of these agencies, it is extremely plausible that prisoners are being interrogated using the dangerous drugs or psychological techniques derived from the program. All right, now here's what I want to get into. This is all leading to Charles Manson, because Charles Manson was a key piece of the MK Ultra interrogation tactics or whatever you want to call it, but he had been tracked throughout his life, going in and out of prisons, being released when he really shouldn't have been, and being given these drugs by somebody, potentially the government, and it all culminated in those horrific murders. So, I am willing to believe that they've stopped trying to do this because they've seen that it's a fruitless endeavor, but the fact that there were no consequences, like who's in jail for these things? You know what I mean? All those people still have their jobs within the government, or then got their kids' jobs, whatever, and never faced consequences, never faced punishment for the fact that they destroy these people's lives. It's really disgusting.
Even Jimmi McVeigh is also linked to MK Ultra.
By the way, I've never heard him referred to as Timmy. I've always heard Timothy McVeigh.
I think I meant to say Timothy, and it just came out as Timmy. Old little Timmy McVeigh. That little guy.
Old Chucky Manson.
Yeah. Old Tim and Chuck.
And you mentioning, though, because in the chat, Uncle Bobby B brought up, check out how many well-known people were test subjects.
Yeah, for sure.
Whiting Burr. Like, there is literally a whole thing that, like, we can go down this. You mentioned Charles Manson and stuff. Like, I think in the future, especially when we can all actually hang out, I want this podcast that outside of the pandemic, because this will continue, I want it to seem as fucking conspiracy theory. I want just like a round table. There's smoke because 3 out of 4 of us
hanging out in
Alexia.
dingy environments, planning plots against the government, then it needs to be a smoke-filled room, or we're not really doing it.
Yeah. Which, by the way, go on the Patreon, watch back the old videos. We did record one on 420 that you think we're stumbling over words now. God damn.
Oh, man. Yeah.
That was a bad day.
Yeah. I've had that weed drink. I had that in it. I've had it multiple times since. It tastes terrible, but it is so good.
Uncle Bobby B recommendation right there.
Yeah.
I was actually at a place yesterday. I think people were talking about that exact drink. The marijuana moonshine. Is that what you're talking about?
It was called Deep Space.
Okay. I don't know the name brand.
It was like a soda. It tasted like flat Dr. Pepper mixed with sticks.
Nice.
I actually took a note during this because when you were talking about LSD all day and looped audio, and I started realizing, I'm like, has some podcast been used as torture? And when you're listing, like, there's been this 2 deaths, this and whatever, and also calling people the paranax, is that the word?
It seemed like paranoid maniacs kind of smashed together there. That was an odd term. I don't think I've ever seen it before, but I want
that to be a descriptor of me. Like, I want to be
paranoiacs.
I want that to be us. Like, I want that to be the hosts of this and like the fans of the M4 show.
Jimmy, if you're looking for ideas, paranoiacs, where we're dressed up like the Animaniacs, that's a good T-shirt. Come on. I'm not gonna, pay for it, but I will love to wear it. So, what are we doing here?
Coming soon. We're 6 months into the Patreon. We have other shirts, so we're going. And especially
we're in the second trimester right now. We're working out, rounding out this podcast.
No, I think we don't even know we're pregnant yet. We're at that weird stage. Is like, I think I'm just have indigestion and I'm a little late. I think that's where I am on this scale. But
listen, I don't know how your family works, but this thing was conceived in 2019. If you haven't figured out you're pregnant by now, you got a real problem.
It's just a lump. It's just a lump. But I did write down weed strain because literally I remember when weed became legal in Ontario and you're going on the website and you just see all these ridiculous names, because before that it's just whatever the guy you grabbed from had, and I'm seeing MK Ultra, LA Confidential. I'm just getting hard for this stuff that I don't even care about the quality. I'm just marking out for the names.
Yeah, MK Ultra is actually a really old strain. It's a very popular old strain. It goes back, I think, to the 70s.
I think they
70s
were
or
1950s.
Oh, I'm talking about the weed.
Oh,
The weed.
And Alexia, what are some of your thoughts on this? You a little scared?
Yeah. I
Just
mean, it is
normally,
weird
though?
that like nobody gets in trouble. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm scared of a lot of things, but like, yeah, it's weird that nobody gets in trouble for this. Like, it's not like it's a conspiracy. Like, oh, they might have done this. Like, they did this. They gave lots of people drugs and just kind of saw what happened. And like, I'm even looking at the list of like subjects and experimenters. Like, people had volunteered for it too. So like, it's really just it's weird.
most of the people that volunteered were students who were desperate for money. So
Yeah.
again, they were taking advantage of these kids and never told them what it actually was.
I was going to say, yeah, a lot of times they didn't actually tell people, oh, this is for brainwashing or
Mhm.
mind control. Like it was usually like sleep deprivation studies and like that kind of stuff.
God, yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, I get volunteering for that, but like just to try and control people's brains, I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way. I don't like it. It makes me scared. Ugh.
And you hit the nail on the head. Like the fact that they've admitted that this has happened, but no repercussions from it. It's like, what good is admitting it then? You're just kind of
Yeah.
saying that, yeah, hey, we do bad stuff.
Yeah, like that's just like a way to make everyone not trust you ever again.
Yeah.
Like, no wonder people hate the government because they do shit like this, and then it just happens. No one gets in trouble. Everything's fine. People have died. Who cares?
That's the government. Also, the other trend of this podcast, it's
Yeah.
the government's always fucking with us. And I think that's why now I keep going through the idea of no one's qualified for anything, especially politicians. Even if you go to school for like political science, you do not get, like, even in wrestling, you're not experienced until you're experienced. So like until you've been a politician for 20 years, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And
I think we are all very qualified to do the things that we do. I think anytime you're in a position where you're telling a full country what to do, there's no chance to be qualified because a human being can't handle that. So it's an impossible system and it's an improbable outcome. God, I love this country.
That's why I'm an anarchist.
Hey, bro, like, yo, Ricky, you had the perfect element there to like show off your shirt when you said you love this country. Oh, never mind. I thought it was Canada. God damn it.
Oh, man, I also love this province. You know,
The province.
some of the leaders are questionable. Beyond that,
Zoom in, just the fucking, what was the Inception cat of just like into you? But I'm going to bang this out quickly because I know you have to go. June 19th in 2002, Steve Fawcett takes off on his record-breaking balloon flight. The American adventurer lifted off from Northam in Western Australia. Oh, there was no America at all. American adventurer in Australia. Okay, they're just trying to fuck with me. To commence history's first solo flight around the world in any aircraft. On July 3rd, after having traveled 33,195 kilometers, he touched down again in Queensland, Australia. On June 19th, 1987, an ETA car bomb kills 21 in Barcelona. The 1987 Hypercore bombing was one of the bloodiest attacks by Basque separatist organization, oh, son of a bitch, Euskadi Ta Askatasan, or ETA.
nailed
It looks like every letter of failed Wheel of Fortune tries that was just piled together there. But in happier news, in 1978, Garfield, the Lazy Cat, makes his debut. The first Garfield comic strip by Jim Davis appeared in 41 newspapers on that day. It currently holds the Guinness World Record for the world's most widely syndicated comic strip. In 1964, we talked about MLK last week. The U.S. Senate passes the Civil Rights Act of 1964. 18 senators unsuccessfully launched a filibuster to prevent passage of the law against discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. Richard Russell stated, "We will resist to the bitter end any measure or any movement which would have a tendency to bring about social equality and intermingling and amalgamation of the races in our brackets, southern states." The bill was signed into law on July 2nd, 1964. So yeah, Richard Russell, go fuck yourself. Probably dead. In 1913, South Africa implements the Natives Land Act. The law limited the areas of land that could be owned by Black people to native reserve areas, which comprised less than 10% of the country's total area. It was in force until apartheid was dismantled. Apartheid was dismantled in the 1990s. Births on this day, June 19th, 1978. Dirk Nowitzki, German basketball player. 1964, Boris Johnson. Thank you for that name. British politician. 1947, Salman Rushdie, Indian author, was born. 1945, Aung San Suu Kyi, Bernese politician. Did not think he was from Bernese. Nobel Prize laureate. And in 1961, Jose Rizal, a Filipino polymath, was born. And lastly, deaths, because we can't always have good and bad. June 19th, 2013, James Gandolfini died. And this September, the Sopranos movie's coming out. So I'm hoping to binge watch all of the Sopranos before that comes out.
Nice.
1990.
Never seen it.
Really? Like none of
Me
it?
neither.
Me neither.
I'm told it's phenomenal, like one of the best TV shows of all time.
My dad loves it, and I have the complete series. And as an Italian, it looks like an old photo album. Like it literally is.
That's cool.
It's beautiful. Like in 1993, English author, poet, playwright, Nobel laureate, I forgot to say his actual name, William Golding, passed away. American actress Jean Arthur died in 1991. And J.M. Barrie, Scottish author, playwright, was born in 1937. And in June 19th, 1312, Pierce Gaveston, the first Earl of Cornwall, an English nobleman, died. What a random... Okay. And that was a fun time. Ricky will not be joining us for next week's episode, but he'll be back. And we also, in the pre-show, which is also a bonus that you get if you're in the meal tier and higher, the recording of the pre-show, because there's a lot of preamble in there. But we will be moving the recording times up a little bit so that Ricky's podcast, the Blackballed podcast, which you can find on YouTube and wherever you're watching this, it's in the description. Go watch it over there. I'm pretty sure they have more views than this because I'm not regular on YouTube yet. So Jimmy, Ricky, and then Alexia, give your plugs. And you all, besides like Ricky doing the podcast, you have stuff that you're actually selling. So please support them if you enjoy this. Jimmy, go ahead.
All right. I got my Instagram, art by Jimmy. I think it is. No, it's Jimmy_sketches. There's too many. Jimmy_sketches is my Instagram, which I update frequently. You can hit me up on there for my commissions, which I have a price list up now. And every now and then I have prints when I'm not lazy. You can also check out my art station, which is my actual portfolio, which is Jimmy Vandelay. And I think that's pretty much it for me. Yeah.
You are looking to do commissions. You can find a rough outline of what it will cost on your Instagram, which is great because most people it's messaged me for rates. You actually have given them a rough outline.
Yeah. Those are base rates. They can vary, but I mean, I'm bad at charging money. It's terrible. But you can hit me up on there. I'm booked till probably end of the month right now, but the sooner you let me know things, the sooner I can
buy
pencil
ice
you
cream.
in. And buy ice cream and my dog food.
Ricky, where can they find you?
You can find me on all the social media sites at ProWildy, PROWILLDY. I also have a podcast called The Blackballed Podcast. You can find that on all your favorite podcast platforms at The Blackballed Podcast. We recently did a death match. You can check that out on YouTube, The Blackballed Death Match. And I'm currently promoting Hot Boy Summer. So, I'm wearing a headband. I'm wearing yellow glasses more than ever. I've been doing cardio in my underwear in the sunlight. So, get into it. It's Hot Boy Summer. We're having a good summer.
I am all about the Hot Boy Summer.
It's Hot Boy Summer.
Wax and vaxxed.
Waxed and vaxxed.
That snuck up on me. Not gonna lie. And Alexia, where can they find you and support you?
You can find me on Instagram at Alexia Nicole, on Twitter at It's Alexia Nicole. I have a Big Cartel store, so I believe the URL is Alexia Nicole Wrestler / bigcartel.com. I've got 8x10s, I've got shirts, I've also got a pro wrestling tee store, which is pwtees.com / bubblegum. If you see a shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees and you want to buy it directly from me, message me. I might have it in your size. Let me know. But yeah, those are all my things. I'm not working right now due to obvious reasons, but so if you could support, that'd be really great. Thank you.
I love that your Italian is in competition with your fucked up shoulder. So it feels like your right hand motions when you talk are exaggerated because your left arm doesn't. Your left arm's like, I want to move. I want to move.
My left hand is literally like moving around as I talk, but like it's just on my lap. I can't do anything.
It's just like what was it? It from not Cousin It, but like the hand from the Addams Family.
Yeah.
Dang, that's it.
So is this like the Italian version of Bell's palsy? You can only talk out of like the one side.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, Ricky, did you think that this was going to be the podcast that gets you canceled, not blackballed?
Hey, I'll tell you an honest story. We talked about John Cena, China, and Taiwan last week on the podcast, and we've got like maybe an eighth of the views that we usually get. So I'm not saying that we don't put out a terrible product, because we also do, but I was really thinking that might have like come across some search engines. So I think I'm in the process of being canceled. I don't know. But yeah,
Shadow canceled Pretty Ricky.
Legitimately. So you honestly might want to block out and mute when I say China and Taiwan so that it doesn't happen to your podcast. But yeah, that's something I experienced. So
saying China, Taiwan is they track that, you think?
Like, I'm assuming they're not watching the actual hour-long podcast that I put out with the stupid crap we're saying. So I'm figuring out that there's some algorithm where they hear China and Taiwan go off in a sentence, and then they do. Like, I know for one of my favorite podcasts, if somebody says the N-word, it's a stand-up comedy podcast. Even if it's a black guy, it doesn't matter. It immediately gets pulled. And it's just because the algorithm dings off that it was said and it's pulled. So I assume that it was something similar, but like I've got no notifications about it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and just like all the fans dropped out this week, but it feels strange.
And that was for China, Taiwan, not Taiwan, China.
I think it's either way, back and forth, but as long as you're saying China and Taiwan and it's, audibly heard, I think it upsets. Like, we also said that Taiwan was the country. So maybe that was the sentence that upset them.
Hey, on Wikipedia, it says it's a country.
Sorry?
Yeah.
On Wikipedia, it said it was a country, but I like the fact that you're like, hey, maybe blur out every time I said this, and then you say it 45 more times.
Well, the time codes. You can cut this out. You're already doing some editing. I'm letting you know.
That's the bit.
Future reference for your podcast.
I like
China, Taiwan.
I like the benefit of the doubt that not that the Blackballed podcast was only worth 1/8, or talking about John Cena, who's a wrestler on your podcast.
Kind of China, Taiwan.
I mean, like any of that could be true. Maybe the episode before was just god awful and we lost viewers. I very much believe that. But it does feel weird, the timing. So for your future podcasts, whatever.
Okay. Oh, Lord. And you can find me at Holden Pro, Brendan Caulfield on things. But most importantly, patreon.com/BrendanC. For $7 a month, you get way too many podcasts. You also get a private Instagram group chat that is just going off all the time. If you think you're the weird one from your group, congratulations. I have collected all the weird ones from all the groups, and now that's just my group. It's all just the weird ones, and it is the best. Bobby B, Gimpy is in there. Gimpy is literally in a line at the LCBO right now. But thank you so much, Ricky. Go do your shit. Everyone, have a good day. Have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Just have fun, stay safe, sane, healthy, and pursuing happiness. Talk to you soon, Ricky.
Thank you very much. Good talking to everyone. Have a good night.
Peace.
Bye. I miss you already.